Welcome everyone to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. And you guys know I love you, right? You know that I care about you guys and your well-being and that you don't do anything that you're going to regret. And if you didn't know, already from the title of the video you clicked on, I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible idea to install Apple's early developer betas on your daily driver. Just don't do it. So I'm going to tell you what you need to know before upgrading to betas, what the trade-offs are, and if you really are going to take the plunge, what is your best course of action. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing. So yeah, we are deep in the throngs of beta season for Apple. Apple is releasing all of their exciting new software, the biggest new features we're going to get for the year, and it's across the board. We're getting new features for AirPods, we're getting new features for iPhones, iPads, Apple TVs, Macs, HomePods, Apple Watch. The entire gamut of what Apple offers is getting beta updates that are bringing exciting new features. But right now, here in mid-June, it's a terrible idea to install these betas on your daily drivers. Just don't do it unless you really do hate yourself, because you likely will regret it. Now, there are the obvious things that come with an early beta. You're going to get poor performance. Stuff's going to lag. You're going to have battery drain out your ears. And do you really want that on your phone? Like having to charge all the time because you just really needed to have that new Safari experience? It's definitely something that I don't think that most people should do. And those are your high level, easy things that may happen, just things that you have to deal with. But there are much worse things that could happen to you. People on our staff at AppleInsider, we have had pretty much every sort of catastrophic thing happen with betas that you can imagine, including full-on data wipes of our devices and corrupted backups. Yeah, if you had like a backup going on and something happens and then they can't restore from the backup and it's all sorts of messes, you definitely do not want that to happen to you. These early betas are designed for developers on dedicated testing devices, and putting it on a daily driver is just not advised in any way. Additionally, certain devices, you can't go back. I believe Apple TV, but for certain Apple Watch, it cannot be reverted. So if you go ahead and you put the Apple Watch, watchOS 8 beta on your Apple Watch, and something happens, it's gone. You're going to have to send it back to Apple to get it restored. What happens if you're on a 1,000-day some move streak and you just put the beta on there and something happens to your watch? You lose your move streak, or you have to send it back to Apple and you lose your Apple Watch for days or weeks while that happens. Is that really worth testing out the new Home app on Apple Watch? Heck, some of the features aren't even here yet in these betas. If we're looking at iPad and the Mac, universal control, not here. The new FaceTime features for iPhone and iPad, as well as like Apple TV and SharePlay and all that, not here. Maybe the new watch faces for watchOS 8, not here. All those things are missing in this early beta. So what Apple does is they issue a public beta that you can sign up for just at beta.apple.com, and in about a month or so, sometime mid-July, Apple will release a public beta of all of these things. And at that point, Apple's saying these are still a little rocky, but they're stable enough for more people to begin testing them and sending them back bug reports. So if you do insist on running an early beta of any of Apple's new software, wait at least until those public betas come out. And even then, it is still risky to put on your daily drivers. Now, I have all of Apple's betas, and I can tell you some of the things that I've been experiencing so far, specifically with not watchOS, with iOS 15. I do have this on my daily driver, but one, I created an offline backup of my device. So should anything happen to my iPhone, I have an offline, non-iCloud backup of my device that I can restore from should I need to, all before upgrading to iOS 15. Secondly, I also have other iPhones. I'm here in my studio. I've got iPhones coming out my ears over here that I use for a variety of different testing purposes. But this year, for the first time in like many years, I did have to install all my daily driver because I needed to test things out like notifications and focus. And it's hard to reproduce some of those things, messages, on a testing device where it's sanitized and I don't have any of my accounts or anything like that. So I did have to take that step of installing on my personal device, but I'm doing it for you guys to show you these new features so that you don't have to download them on your own devices. But issues that I'm seeing so far, other than the missing features that still aren't here yet, it's very slow and buggy. Pulling down Spotlight can take a couple seconds to populate. Safari is really rough. Every time I go to tap on the bar, it can take a couple seconds again for kind of realizing that I'm trying to get to it and tapping the URL smart bar and moving up and all the animations. It's definitely rough. I've also had a lot of apps crash. Twitter crashes constantly when I'm trying to add images to it. There's just a lot of daily issues that are really going to be pain points for anyone running these betas on their, daily drivers. So again, don't do this if you can avoid it. The best course of action is waiting until July, installing the public betas, and making sure your devices are well backed up. And even then, something like the Apple Watch may not be worth the risk for you. If you do have a long move streak or you really rely on your Apple Watch, hold off. Hold off until we're partway through that beta process, and you can still get these software updates early, but you don't have to compromise your devices or data to do so. So that's just my opinion. You guys are going to do what you want to do, but I just want to look out for you guys. And as AppleInsider writer Neil Hughes said, if you wanted a device that was slow and buggy, you'd probably be running an Android or Windows device anyway. Let me know what you guys think, who's taking the plunge over on Twitter at Andrew_OSU, and stay tuned for so much more on Apple's new operating systems.